Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Nutmeg Nation. Thank you for tuning in. I have a colleague, friend, and also fellow Grenadian, Kerron. How's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you adjusting to the spring forward, as they call it?
Spring forward? I don't know, because that's sort of like an up and down question here in Toronto because of the spring forward, weather goes backwards, then jumps back forward, then backwards. So it's like.
I know we've had quite a winter. I don't know what this is because the transition between hot and cold, like it's just a little crazy, but I don't know. I think we're going to do a little interesting thing that I like to call sort of like a cultural moment for Grenada. I think that, this year, 2024, it's going to be more exciting. I think a lot of people like to dress up for Spice Mass, choose their costume, and, just go down to Grenada, and visit. It's a very popular time to visit Grenada during carnival seasons.
Okay, so what do you know about Spice Fast? What can you tell me about it?
Well, you know what? What I know is that Spice Mass started about 100 years ago, and it's basically a celebration of slavery, like stemming back from history. Slaves were living a hard life. And as a way to celebrate cultural significance, they decided to create this event and it just hit the ground running pretty much. So it's come a long way.
Okay. So it started about 100 years ago. Is it? I guess it would be similar to other carnivals in the Caribbean, like Trinidad and St. Vincent and whatnot, right? I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think Trinidad, they are notorious for carnival. Like it's a big deal. Like they go all out. I don't know. Have you been to carnival in Trinidad?
Yeah. I've been to both. Yeah.
And so what is your opinion? What do you think in terms of events, parties?
Well, yeah. Trinidad is on another level when it comes to that stuff because that's where the whole calypso, soca, and our style of mass or carnival started, right? It is definitely grander. It's bigger. It's also a bigger country, so you're gonna get more stuff happening, and it's also older than Spice Mass, right? So yeah. I think between the two, you get a beautiful variation of carnival because, as you know, carnival basically reflects the history, the origins of it from our side. It's based from slavery. Slaves used to use the beating of the drums and whatnot to communicate with each other in times of slavery, and that developed into the mass. And whereas something like Juve and stuff developed from slaves making fun of the colonial masters, so they make their own costumes and parade in the streets. So all of that is sort of stems from that era, and Grenada has taken it to other heights. For example, with Jab Jab, everybody loves Jab Jab, right?
Yeah.
Jab Jab is a reflection of slavery itself because they're sort of portraying what slaves went through being bound in chains and whatnot. I'm not quite fully sure if that's a proper explanation of it, but I know Grenada does it very well. It's a wonderful variation between the two. If you ever have a chance, I know you've been for Grenada, but you should definitely go for Trinidad and try both. Maybe try both in a year. Who knows if you have the opportunity to.
Yeah. It's also the funds, right? But yeah, you're right. Jab Jab is a celebration scene at Spice Mass where participants dance and parade through the city to a sound called Jab Jab rhythm. The Jab Jab is iconically represented by masqueraders covered in black oil, horns, and chains. And you know what? I find the Jab Jab kind of scary. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, whenever you see them, they're covered in black oil, and some of them are carrying, I don't know if it's like meat or whatever they have in their mouth. Like, it's not very
meat. When I was growing up and when I was living in Grenada, they used to have snakes around them.
Yeah.
So that's what the Jab Jab still is then. Yeah, you have the right to be scared. But
no, but obviously they're doing what they're supposed to do because you're talking about the history of Jab Jab, right? Yes. You know what I mean? So as I'm quoting from, the lovely internet here, it's talking about, like, in fact, like you said, the emancipation of African slaves were not allowed to participate in carnival, but this never stopped their celebrations. They recovered themselves in the whole Jab Jab outfit. And so that was probably like in recognition of we're no longer in slavery. We can celebrate our culture now, right? Yeah. So like we're talking about carnival. So what events do you like to go to when you go to Carnival?
When I go to Carnival, I have not experienced Grenada's Juve recently.
Yeah.
But as of recently, when I've been down to Trinidad's Juve, I love doing that. So I'm definitely going to try and go to Juve in Grenada, the Spice Mass, when I've got the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went years ago. It's, it's been a while, but there's no rule with the music because the music starts at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I'm already hearing the truck going. I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah. That's Juve. Yeah, that's Juve. Because people make their own costume, right? Can you touch on stuff about Juve? Do you know much about Juve?
I don't know a lot about Juve, but from what it says here, it's like a disguise, right? Like you're covered in paint and, it's more or less a colorful celebration really early in the morning. But what do you know about Juve?
Yeah, it's basically, that's the gist of it. It goes back to the whole back in the day stuff where they make their own costumes again to reflect political times and whatnot. So that's what people used to do. I don't know how it is, well, at least now in Grenada itself, but I know, because you would make your own costume to send your own message to like politicians or whatever it may, whether it be political or whatever is going on in society.
You know what? The last time I went to Juve morning, other than the people that were in their, homemade costume and color and whatever they could find around the house, there is a political message. I remember seeing a lot of signs, a lot of like statements that were there. So it definitely catches your attention. I'm not going to say some of the stuff that I saw, but I was like, wow, it's pretty out there with how far they will go politically to make a point of view. You know what I mean? So you are right about that. Yeah, definitely. What about Monday Night Mass? Does Trinidad have Monday Night Mass? Yeah.
Trinidad has the Monday night, everything. I think both islands are pretty similar in what they have and what they sort of represent for Carnival.
Yeah.
I've not done the Grenada Monday night or the Monday Mass in Grenada.
Yeah, you know what? It's more casual, not as expensive as getting a costume. What I like is it's like a really nice light show. So there's lots of lights, different bands parading around, and it's more casual. Like a lot of the bands are like in shorts and t-shirt from when I went. Mind you, it might have changed. Like you said, over the years, they always like spice it up a little bit, right?
Spice Mass, yeah. Spice it up.
You know what? The one thing I do have to say that culturally is different is how people respect the people in costume. When you go to the parade, again, what is it? The Monday Mass. Yeah, I remember going and being quite shocked because no one is jumping on the truck. No one's getting in the way of people in costume or anything like that. People respect the performers and everyone that's paid their money and they stand to the side. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like here. Yeah.
You mean the difference between Toronto? Yeah. Because part of that is because there's no historical context to it. Like we in the Caribbean have our celebrations and we know the history. We, for the most part, know the history behind it. And, and you're taught what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of that? Over here, it's just a party.
Yeah.
So no one knows, right? And there are other people who sort of just jump in and say, hey, I want to be a part of this, but they have no history. They have no context. So nothing's taught to them. So they don't value what we have, right?
Yeah. So you're saying it's a matter of respect where it's more of a party than just a historical event.
Yeah, like because there's a purpose to the party. There's a purpose to Carnival, right? Like traditionally, as far as I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Grenada's Carnival was just similar to Trinidad where it was before Lent, right?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Right. So they've got that. It's all part of like you celebrate. It's like celebrating the harvest, basically. You're celebrating what's produced and then Lent comes around and sort of just everything just goes away and it's time to give yourself to God, basically. It's but there's a context to it, right? There's a reason why we do this and we do that. Whereas here or in North America, or I can't speak for any other city, so I should just say Toronto.
Yeah.
But in Toronto, it's just let's just have a party and we just get together and do whatever you want, basically, right? Or try anything you can. It's not. There's no education on what the meaning of this is or what the meaning of that is, right?
I don't know. I guess with time, but yeah, it's always seen as a tourist event here in Toronto. I mean, it's still the same in Caribbean culture, but I think the meaning is a little bit different because of its significance. Because I guess if we're going to get into the history, like Carnival in Grenada started just as other carnivals in the Caribbean. Much of the island population in Grenada arrived there against their own will, brought over from Africa as slaves. And a true testament to the very strength of these people, they were able to maintain some of the cultures that they knew from their native islands, despite the fact that they were forced to stifle their own traditions by their owners. So, like you said, because of the history and the fact that, Grenada has only been independent now for 50 years, maybe it's more prolific as a celebration than here in Canada, where we're more of a multicultural society and it's a party. Like, let's get drunk, right?
Yeah, well, Canada also didn't really go through an independence from slavery and all of that as well, right? So
yeah,
there is no connection to that, right? Because that's more of a, again, like you said, an African sort of culture thing where the slaves and carnival combine, because like carnival itself is not something that's originated from the Caribbean, right? But the style of it with soca, calypso, steel band, and all of that stuff, that style originates from the Caribbean. So that's the context with it, because we know why we celebrate. Right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's actually this year, February 7th, 1974 was when Grenada gained its independence. And this year, Grenada is celebrating 50 years. And so it's a big deal for Grenada, obviously. It's come a long way as a country in terms of its history and where we stand now as an island. And because you're kind of like from both worlds, like your background is Grenadian and Trinidadian, you kind of have the best of both worlds. Because, we're both, they're neighbors when you think about it, like, you know what I mean? But not necessarily really close in that way. Do you feel like Grenadians and Trinidadians kind of get along, or they're like,
Yeah, I feel like they're the same, to be honest. If you meet most people in Trinidad, like most of them have some sort of Grenadian connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're basically the same, in my opinion. But obviously, you got your.
I have my opinion.
But each country has their individuality, basically.
Yeah,
trying to say, right? But I think they're pretty much the same. If you speak to most people in Trinidad, they'll have some sort of connection. Either like their parents were from Grenada, or their relatives, or someone there. They've got some sort of connection to Grenada.
Yeah. Well, it's a great island, very friendly connection, very friendly people altogether. Whenever I go back, I always find that there's nothing really to complain about because the people are friendly, the food is good, and you're there to have a good time. And I think if you want to go to Carnival, this is a great year to go. But I feel like there's a lot of preparation involved with Carnival. Don't you think? Like, you don't just do Carnival last minute. Like, wouldn't you have already chosen your costume already?
Absolutely. Yeah. You'd have to make your pre-orders or get your stuff together. Yeah. You'd have to. Yeah. It's not a last minute thing. You can do that with Juve, but not with playing actual masquerading, right?
Yeah. And we were talking about the prices. Like, I don't know, like looking at the prices of the costumes and, inflation. I don't even know if this is up to date, but some of the costumes are like ranging from, what did we see? 400 to 1,000.
It's 1,000. Yeah. 400 to 1,000. Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of money
which is crazy. Yeah, again, that's partly why I just play Juve. But
yeah.
In Juve in Trinidad, you can do free, or I'm pretty sure it's the same for Grenada. You can do it free, or you can pay like maybe like $100. I want to say $100, and then that gives you the ability to just get a T-shirt. You're a part of a band. You get paint. You get some snacks and beverages or whatever the case is, or breakfast, I should say, and then you're good to go. So.
Right.
I'd rather do that. And that's a lot more fun, my opinion. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah. I've actually never participated in Juve Morning. I was a spectator when I went a few years back. It's been a minute, right? And so it always seems to be one of the events that a lot of people miss work for. I don't know. My aunt tells me that people call in sick,
Hey, that's carnival. That's carnival in any Caribbean country, man. If you're working, then in Trinidad, carnival is not a holiday officially.
Yeah.
because unofficially everybody's off.
Right.
So it might as well be a holiday, but it's not. So I mean, if that's the case for Trinidad, I'm sure I know it's the case for Grenada as well. Nobody's going into work on Carnival, so you'll be hard pressed to find anyone working who's not like a civil servant, like a police officer or something like that, right? So
yeah, no, I hear that. And you know what? The one thing that I have to remind people is that Grenada's Carnival is the second Monday in August. We do it a little bit later. I guess it's kind of like tied around close to Carnival in Toronto because it's usually falls in August, July, end of July and beginning of August. But the second Monday, if you're planning or if you already got your ticket for Carnival this year, you're going to have a great time, obviously. But like we're talking about two countries here. So in Trinidad, it's in February. Why do they have it in February? Do you even know?
Yeah, that's just like Grenada's was in February. That's right before Lent. And it ends with Ash Wednesday, right? So,
right.
Yeah, that's traditionally how it was. Because Carnival was like to celebrate the harvest, celebrate the year, the new year and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's more of like a religious thing when you think about it, right?
It sort of went around the religious calendar a little bit. Yeah.
I'm Carlene, and this is Nutmeg Nation. We are talking about Carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I got
Spice Mass.
Spice Mass, yes. You know, one of Grenada's very popular events. It's a tourist attraction. I hope you already bought your ticket because if you haven't, it's going to be super expensive. Like we're talking like 2,000. I was looking up ticket prices, Kerron, and it's high. It's way up there.
Yeah, listen, it's always expensive to travel to Grenada, but if you're doing it during something like Spice Mass, then yeah, it's going to be more for sure.
Yeah. So we were talking about like the history of Spice Mass, but it looks like
Yeah, no, I think we may have flubbed a little bit on the history.
Okay.
So from what I remember reading, Spice Mass was first held in Grenada in 1877, almost 100 years after the first carnival event in Trinidad. So that's, I think, what we got wrong with the time frame. But 1877. That's when it was held.
Okay.
First.
Well, there we go. We have a historical moment there. 1877. That's a long time ago. And obviously Spice Mass has changed. They've added more events. And, you know, there's one thing that we need to talk about when we talk about Spice Mass and all the events leading up to the big parade is the music. Mm-hmm. It's all about the music, right? So
absolutely, yeah.
For those people that don't know the difference, like calypso, soca, like, you know a little bit about both genres of music?
So calypso's more of the traditional sense. Calypso is like a little bit similar to kaiso, which is from Africa. I guess we can give an example like the feeling hot, or the cent, 5 cent, 10 cent dollar. That's calypso.
Yeah.
Where it evolves along the way. Or another example, I guess, like from a jamo in Grenada. A jamo on the road again. My middle name is Calypso. Like songs like that, that's calypso.
Okay.
Soca is the more faster paced, more upbeat tempo music. You have like more modern iterations. I guess more popular names would probably be like Basha, Montano, Kess. You know, you've got Bounty Killer, and then you've got other artists like that. Inspector in Grenada as well. People like that. That's more calypso. Sorry, soca, which is more upbeat and faster. Yeah.
Whereas calypso's a little bit slower, like in terms of tempo, right?
Yeah, and calypso also, like, if we go back to like the whole political aspect, calypsonians, I should say, tend to put more messages in their music, more political messages and whatnot. It's always trying to teach you a lesson or something in their music.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of music, I find like, you know, every year there's like a hot song that that's leading the way to the parade. Don't you find? Like, I think like even in Trinidad, there's always the winner of like the most popular, not only the popular band, like there's always the winner with that, but also the very popular song that was played over and over again during Carnival. You know what I mean? So
yeah. You know what that's called?
No, why don't you tell me?
No, Road March.
Road March. Right. Ooh, I'm learning my lingo here. I'm brushing up, you know.
Road March songs are usually the ones that get the crowd moving the most. So that's why it's sort of it judges like as the crowd mover. That's where Road March.
And what other things do you think that you should know if you're going to Carnival for the first time?
Watch out for steel band orchestras. They're usually on trucks or people have them on the side of the road at different parties and what, or is this, what's it called? Panorama, which is like the competition for steel band bands, I should say, steel bands. And they have their competition as well. Similar to like the Calypso Monarch and like the Soca Monarch stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Which is the competition for all of those different genres and stuff. What else do you have? What else do you think people should?
Okay, so there's this, we were talking about the jab and how the jab is known for, their historical costume design when it comes to slavery, but there's also shortney. Did I say that right? Shotney, right?
Shotney, yeah.
Shotney. Yes. So they're one of the most iconic and recognizable, and they're also known for scaring people. Like, I think they're scary because they have the powder and they're walking around, down the street, and you'll see all kinds of colors, textures. You don't see their face because they're wearing a mask. And it's also, in terms of tradition, they're African and French, and they've been around a long time, right? I mean, I don't know the historical significance there, but it's definitely something you can't miss when you're in Carnival, right? Yeah. Yeah,
that's one as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're going to Carnival, what do you think you need before you head down to a parade? Like, what kind of things should you bring with you when you're attending? What are your must-haves?
Maybe a pouch for your cell phone. So if it gets wet or anything like that,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How about some water? Stay hydrated is kind of hot.
Well, you got to have your water on the road with you. So yeah.
Okay, I guess we could talk about both ways, because if you're a spectator, it's one thing versus being a part of the parade, right? Because when you're a part of the parade, they usually give you, they give you food, they give you water and stuff like that. But if you're just going to watch the parade, or if you're doing a little cheap like Kerron and doing, Juve morning, right?
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I'm just razzing you there, but it's a more affordable, right?
It's called maximizing your experience. What I do is I go to all the parties beforehand, or as many as I can go to, and then do Juve, and then just enjoy the mass watching it.
Right. Okay. So what do you mean you go to as many parties as possible? Because I know in Trinidad, you guys are partying for a month. They don't party. I mean, they party a lot in Grenada. I think it's the week leading up to Carnival. It's maybe like almost a 2-week celebration, but I don't know. Trinidad's pretty extensive in terms of how much they plan it in advance, right?
Well, Trinidad starts partying as soon as Boxing Day hits up until Carnival. So that's how it works in Trinidad. So you get a lot more parties, and everything is a party. So yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the costumes though? I think like some of the costumes, like, it really is all about the colors and the feathers and the design, but some of the costumes are a little bit revealing. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think like it's so out there? Like, it's kind of like, depending on what kind of costume you get, there's some that are more...
I don't know. I think you take artistic interpretation to a level, and then, you say, this is how I want to be. This is how I want to be free. Some people like the more revealing ones and others don't, because there are variations of them, right? You can get different levels of them. You can get like a full bathing suit. You can get a bikini top. You can get like a wire bra or something like that, So there are variations of the costumes. So it's whatever people want to buy. They have the choice.
Yeah. You know what? There's one more thing that I think we have to talk about when we talk about Carnival, and that is the food, right? And I think it's exciting. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy having a nice, what do you call it? Snow cone. It's really nice to have. Yeah. Especially during Carnival time, you're hot, and then you get a nice little snow cone, while you're attending the event. And I don't know, what do you like to eat during Carnival?
Not anything in particular. It depends on, I guess, which country. Both Grenada and Trinidad, snow cone's a must.
Yeah.
When I'm in Trinidad in general, it's usually all about like any kind of food, basically, because the foods are so flavorful. You've got doubles, roti,
bacon shark.
Yeah, there's also all these different flavors of ice cream, that like Guinness ice cream. There's now like doubles ice cream. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's there.
Doubles ice cream? Have you ever
tried
what?
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever tried Jack Daniel's snow cone?
No, I haven't.
See, there you go.
Oh.
There you go. No, they got all kinds of stuff down there. So yeah, I wouldn't even like when I just go, I just have food in general.
Yeah, no, it is about the food too, right? You know, even like when I'm in Grenada, I don't really like rum and raisin, but when I'm down there, like a good rum and raisin ice cream is really good. And I don't know, I like KFC better in Grenada.
Oh yeah,
They add
yeah,
a little bit more
yeah,
spice to it. You know what I mean? And I don't know,
yeah.
people are always waiting in line for KFC. I don't understand it, but it's one of those things. It's not just about the KFC, it's about the authentic food, like you were saying. And for me, when I went to Trinidad, I was only there for a day. And when I did go, like we did go to a restaurant and we had roti. And I don't know if I'm kind of afraid to say this because I'm from the island, but I don't really like mango that much. But I got to give it to the Trinidadians because they put mango in the roti and it tasted amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should try it with pumpkin too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Next time.
Yeah.
And you know how you're saying you don't notice much of a difference. So I stayed longer in Tobago. And I find that Tobago reminds me of Grenada because of the one beach that I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of nicer beaches I find in Tobago than Trinidad, but to each his own, everybody has a difference of opinion, right?
No, for sure. Tobago has way nicer beaches than Trinidad, especially you get that like that white sandy sort of beach style in Tobago. You don't get that in Trinidad really because it depends on which beach you go to, but you probably get that more Las Cuevas or something like that in Trinidad. But like Tobago is known to be like the tourist seaside, and Trinidad is more the industrial sort of side too.
Yeah.
Whereas Grenada, you get nice beaches basically on any one of them, right? Any part of the island, I should say, right? So,
yeah. Well, you know, since we're adding one more thing to this, Grenada is a 3-island state. So it's Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique for those of you that don't know. And all the islands are beautiful from what I've heard. Mind you, I haven't been to Carriacou. Have you?
Nope, I have not.
Okay. So that's on your list of places to check out. So tell me, out of all the things to do in Grenada, what is one of the things that you must do when you're visiting? Say you were going this year for Carnival, where would you head to first? Like you're getting off the plane, you land at the airport, where are you going to first?
I just go visit family.
Oh, okay. All right.
Family's my main attraction in Grenada. Family.
Oh,
That's
okay.
You know, but if I were to visit a particular, I guess, place, I would say that's a good question, actually. I don't really have a specific place. I'll say
really?
that. Because,
okay.
Yeah. Because I don't have like a go-to spot. Maybe just any beach. Because I just love going to the beaches. So just any beach.
Yeah.
Just say anything.
But you don't have a particular beach that you like?
No, well, Grenada's beach is the one that's basically most talked about. So I guess I can stick with that one.
Well, I'm biased in my opinion because I like Grenada's beach because it's close to where my grandmother lives. So, but there's a few other beaches I haven't checked out, to be honest. And I feel like I have to see the other beaches. Like obviously I've been to Batway Beach in the country, but I haven't been to Magazine Beach, and there's a few others that are nice as well. But yes, like you said, the tourist attraction is Grenada's Beach. It's right close to the water, beautiful views, lots of resorts there. And the sand is absolutely gorgeous, right? So, I mean, can't go wrong with Grenada's Beach at the end of the day. So, well, I think we touched on it, a little history on Spice Mass. So if you're going to Carnival this year, I hope you have fun and enjoy the festivities. We're counting down, but I think it's important to know the history of Carnival because it's come a long way from what it was originally. There's more events now, and I think it's good to check out what's going on before you buy tickets, or if you already bought the tickets, you know what I mean? It's always good to know in advance before you head out for the festivities, right? And like you said,
I agree.
And you also mentioned carrying a pouch for your cell phone. It's handy, right?
Yeah, so that way it doesn't get wet. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Sounds good. I'm Carleen, and this is Nutmeg Nation. I'm with my co-host tonight, Kerron, and I hope 2024 is a great year for you, and take care.
Thank you for listening to Nutmeg Nation with Carleen Humphrey.